Welcome to The World According to Rich. I've been making films since I was 11 years old. And it's only recently that I've come to understand that the reason I loved it so much had a lot to do with the fact that I had the chance to be on a team, to be a team leader. I could write a script and my friends would follow me along on this quest to finish this film. And when we actually did finish a film, occasionally, that was our field goal. That was our victory. Now, one of the first times I ever set off to achieve a goal with a friend was actually a couple years before I even picked up a camera. My friend Larry and I decided to run a lemonade stand. You know, I brought some of the parts of the lemonade stand, maybe the table and the chairs, and he brought the lemonade and the cups, and I brought the napkins. And we sat there at the lemonade stand in front of his house all day long, and we brought in some business. It was a suburban neighborhood, so there were occasional cars that would stop and buy the lemonade. Well, at the end of the day, we ran into a little bit of a problem. We couldn't really agree on how we should split up the profits. And what was worth more? Were the chairs worth more than the napkins? Were the napkins worth more than the lemonade? We ended up parting ways, and I decided I was going to have my own lemonade stand. Well, that was a bit of a problem. You see, Larry and I lived right across the street from one another. So on day 2, I set up my lemonade stand. He has his lemonade stand. We're directly across the street from each other. And now, of course, the first thing that happens is that we have a price war. Maybe he starts at 25 cents, I go down to 20 cents, then he goes down to 15 cents. But price wasn't the problem. The problem was that anybody who happened to go by our street is not going to stop and choose one kid over the other. We sat there all day long and no one stopped. Now, even though we were furious at each other, we sat there all day long staring and staring and staring. Even we could understand that this was just not going to work. So day 3, we teamed up again. But we weren't going to stay in that street, that dead little street. We decided we were going to go off to a better location. We went around the corner to our local park. And we sat ourselves right outside the front entrance. And that was it. We had so many kids come by and buy lemonade that we were out of inventory within an hour. Larry said, you know what, stay here. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get more lemonade. So I said, great. And he runs off to get more lemonade with a pitcher in hand. Now this is where the problem started. I made a little bit of a mistake. I decided that I would keep selling lemonade, or more accurately, lemonade futures. I mean, after all, I was sitting there with a sign on my lemonade stand saying, hey, you know, we have lemonade. The kids came up to me and they said, you know, I'd like to buy some lemonade. And I said, well, the lemonade's going to be here in a minute, but if you pay it now, if you pay for it now, I'll save it for you. You'll make sure you get your lemonade. Now, for some reason, lots of kids fell for this, and they were giving me money, and I was just raking it in, raking it in, raking it in. Well, that seemed like great at first, except that Larry took a little bit longer to come back. And the kids were starting to get impatient, especially the older kids. Now, my older kids, remember, I'm about 8 or 9 years old. The older kids, they're about 11 or 12. They're big kids, and they're not very happy. And I was starting to get a little bit nervous. I didn't know what they were going to do to me. I didn't know if they were going to pants me or hang me, you know, by my toes somewhere off the fence. Finally, Larry came back with a pitcher of lemonade, and I was able to give the lemonade to the kids that had paid in advance. Or so I thought. There was a suspiciously large crowd gathering, claiming that they'd all paid for lemonade. I didn't know who I took money from and who I didn't. But we were not going to get into an argument, so we had to start paying back all of the kids who weren't going to get their lemonade. We ended up paying out a lot more than we brought in. I mean, it sounds like a disaster, but looking at it now from the perspective of 2010, I think we were really ahead of our time.